Hi friends, today we will study my English course book Standard 10, Unit number 1 and lesson number 1.2, An Encounter of a Special Kind.
Explanation. The author's father was a medical professional working for private camp in Raniganj in West Bengal. The author's house was an individual bungalow in the corner of a large campus. The compound was luxurious with green grass, colorful flask and host of tall and majestic trees. The seasonal vegetables in the kitchen garden and magnificent trees constantly attracted squirrels and many species of birds and groups of langur who had made their den in an aswatha tree nearby. All of them were a part and parcel of the author's life. A small incident which took place on a Saturday afternoon left a profound effect on the author and revealed a new aspect to the wonders of God's creation. It was a few days to the puja vacation, and just like any other normal child, the author was busy reading magazines and storybooks for children in festive season. After a substantial lunch, the author's parents and younger sisters laid down for an afternoon nap, and he himself sat down to read a storybook. The perfect backdrop for reading an adventure story was occasionally disturbed by the sound of his family snoring, the frequent chirping of house sparrows, the harsh cawing of a crow, and the sharp call of a kite flying high above the ground. As the author was deeply engrossed in the book, he suddenly heard the street dog barking in the distance. He ignored it, thinking that pack of dogs might have cornered a hapless pig. But soon the barking became louder and aggressive, and the cawing of flock of crows added to the cacophony. As the disturbance grew closer, curiosity got the better of him. Leaving the book aside, he rushed to the veranda to see what was going on. As the author glanced towards the clubhouse, he saw something horrible. A big male langur, evidently the leader of its group, was holding baby langur and cruelly beating it all over with an intention of killing. The helpless mother of the baby and other lesser members of the langur group, which were scattered on the roofs of the buildings nearby, were watching the baby being killed. The author recalled the terrible custom in the animal clan, according to which a dominant male usually does not allow another male to survive within its group. Without losing any time, the author, with a stick in one hand, threw a piece of stone at the marauding langur, which was so infuriated that it hardly took any notice of it. And the author continued his attack. Dogs on their part raised their pitch of cry, due to which the langur dropped the baby from sloping roof over the veranda. As the baby slid down listlessly over the roof, the pack of dogs were excited at the prospect of a good kill and a meal. Keeping the dogs at bay with the stick, the author managed to catch hold of the baby langur's tail, just as it tipped over the edge of tiled roof. The male baby was inert and lifeless. By this time, the author's parents, sisters, and a few distant neighbors were witnessing the scene. The author took baby langur to his poultry coop in the backyard and laid him on the floor. The baby was full of bite marks and bleeding profusely. The author's father gave the baby first aid and he stopped bleeding. He was relieved to see the baby breathing. Splashes of cold water made the baby move, and after a few shaky attempts, he sat up. In a state of shock, the baby was trembling like a leaf in the wind. His two little eyes welled up with tears, and he started to sob with muffled cry, just like a human child after experiencing trauma. The baby was given a banana to eat. The author's priority was to revive the baby, but he had strong feeling of being watched. Looking up, he saw Mother Langur closely monitoring every move of his, as if convinced that no harm was done to the child. The baby sensed his mother's presence. So the author retreated from the door of the coop so as to allow the mother access to her baby. The mother langur descended on the floor of the coop, and after thorough inspection to check the injuries, she cuddled the baby in the bosom. The baby found great solace in her arms. The mother sat still with the baby in her lap for few minutes, pondering over her options to save the baby from further assault. The mother langur looked straight into the author's eyes, showing silent gratitude for saving her child, which the author remembers till date. He was overwhelmed by the emotions and the way she said thanks to him. There sat Universal Mother holding stricken child in her lap. Then, in a flash, after surveying the area for the wicked male langur, she left in the opposite direction to the place of the violent encounter. This brief meeting with the mother and the langur convinced the author about interspecies communication and mutual trust is indeed a reality which hums into action if right chord is struck. The mother and the baby showed author that food was not only the means of communication between man and animal, but it can be established through trust, compassion and mutual understanding. 55 years have lapsed since that day, and the author is now 70 years old, but he still fondly remembers that encounter of a special kind.
Students, from this lesson we get the message that we establish a bond of love, compassion and mutual understanding among animals by saving their life and helping them.